Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of RedRum Radio. I have a very special guest with me today. My single friend that I feel like, no, it's because I feel like all of us moms need that one single friend that's like down to do whatever, and you're like my partner in crime for that.
I'm like, just get up and go. Just call me.
Literally. So, this is Dana. She is Jonathan's cousin.
Yes, aka Denise.
Yeah, aka Denise, aka
Boya or Boya.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
I was really wondering about that because I was like, why do they call you that?
Yeah, so it all started with my oldest brother. When I was little, he would he thought I was cute, so he would call me Pollito. And I have an uncle that came down and started living with us, and he heard that, and so ever since then he would call me Pollo. And then my middle brother would use it like almost like as a revenge kind of thing, like calling me Pollo or Gallina Monroy. It was like, whenever he was mad, like he would just like,
he's like,
throw anything at me
Pollo,
to
bitch.
just, like, piss me off, and I'm like, yeah, I love it. And it would piss him off even more.
I know. I seen your brothers calling you that. I'm like, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, so it's just like a old nickname. I never even knew the story behind it until like maybe a couple years ago.
Really?
I asked that. Like I never even asked. I was like, oh yeah, I just answered to it. Like
That's
no
so
question
funny.
about it.
I have that. I have one too. My dad's family calls me Lourdes.
Lourdes.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Well, what the heck? I just found out your name is Cynthia.
Oh yeah, you were
like, what?
Yeah,
Who are you?
Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, she was like, "Your name?" Oh, because I zelled you, and you were like, "Your name's Cynthia."
I was like, what the heck? I feel like I see you in a whole different light now. I'm
Really?
like, who are you?
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I'm
yeah.
like, how many incognitos do you have?
No, but Lourdes is like random as fuck.
That is super random.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, Lulu."
That's not even like a nickname.
No, it's not even like close. It's like a whole nother fucking name, and I don't even know.
That goes as close to that. Or
No, what? And I don't even know like how it started or anything. Like, I've never asked.
Same.
I should probably ask.
We just live.
Yeah, but then we're like, they call me, and I'm like,
no
yes.
questions about.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
They're like Lourdes. I'm like, yes.
I
Like
know,
it's my whole ass name.
And
It's
like
so
everybody
funny.
else calls me Dena, and I'm like, where'd that come from? One of my aunts, Tia Flor, she started calling me Dena, and then so to this day she still calls me Dena or Dena Cadena.
Well, that's how when I was introduced to you, that's how they introduced me. Yeah. I don't remember how we really started. Obviously, I've known you for years, but I don't remember how we really started. Like,
I do. It was because of plants.
oh yeah,
I remember I was like posting. It was like during COVID, and then we had nothing else to do, so my collection grew a lot during COVID.
I remember, yes.
And then you messaged me about one of your plants, and that was it. We're
Yeah.
like, let's go to a plant store. Let's go.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, and then after that,
Then
the 80s Club,
yeah.
dude.
So we went from plant moms to
party
moms. Just going
so
on.
much fun. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
But we have
And now ghost hunting moms.
yes, yeah, we have that in common. Would you say you're more into like paranormal more than true crime stuff, or do you think it's like
For
equal?
sure, because I really like the history of I was going to say history of plants. My bad. I really like the history behind all hauntings, because it's not just, I mean, usually it's not just like, oh, this house is haunted. No, why is it haunted? Is it because of the grounds? Is it because of residual energy? Or is it like a new haunting where it's like, really just like moving things? What is that called? I can't think of the word right now.
Like a poltergeist?
Poltergeist, yeah. And that's like hella active.
Wait, isn't that like something that follows you?
Yeah, that's also another thing, there are some that really just follow the person, so it doesn't matter if they move from house to house and they think the house is haunted. It's like, it's not even that. It's the person.
That's fucking
sucks.
nuts. Like, what do you do at that point?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get exercise.
Yeah.
And hope for the best.
Yeah, literally.
I
feel like when I was younger, I used to be like a weenie. Like, I was so fucking scared of like things like that. But I feel like as I gotten older, but also I feel like because I haven't experienced anything,
Oh.
I'm more...
You're
like,
just like waiting for it to happen almost?
No,
the suspense?
Okay, no, but because when I'm like... I always say, like, if I feel like if I was to ever see anything or me saliera el diablo, like, I'd be like freaked the fuck out.
Yeah. I think in the moment, it's not even like that. I think in the moment, you're just like, no. You're almost like in denial. Like the stuff that's happened to me, I'm just like, no.
Like,
and I don't react to it in the moment. It's like after the fact of it happening, and I'm like, that shit should have not happened.
Yeah.
Like, that's spooky.
Yeah, because I've talked to people that have like that. What did we call it the other day? Like the sensitivity.
Yeah. You're
and they're like,
sensitive.
well, I don't. They're like all scared and they won't fuck with it, and they won't even talk about it. But they're like, it's because you've never experienced it.
Yes.
And I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're gonna look for it and you're gonna.
Even
find
my mom
it.
was like, si lo vas a buscar, lo vas a encontrar. You know, like she's just like, if that's what you want to go look for,
yeah, and it's true, you know, because I've heard. I mean, obviously, it's like almost like you're calling it.
Yeah, I mean, it really. I mean, it in a sense, it is. We're very curious to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've experienced some things, and like I said, in the moment, it wasn't like something that spooked me as much as thinking about it now. You get me?
But it obviously didn't spook you that bad, because you're still like into it.
I think it's just because I've always seen stuff.
Really?
Ever since I was little. Yeah, ever since I was little, I've always seen things, and it's almost like part of the world. Like, it doesn't like...
You're just acostumbrada.
Yeah, like, it doesn't like look different from seeing something else. Like, I'm looking at you, and I could turn and look, and I'll see something else, and it almost looks like if I'm looking at you. It looks so real. So...
Like a whole ass being?
Yeah, I have seen a whole ass being before.
No.
Mm-hmm. Especially when I was little, I would see it a lot more. I don't see it as much anymore. Yeah. When I was around like 16, 17, that's when I kind of started like stopping. Stopping.
Yeah.
You know, like I stopped seeing as many like physical things or like full apparitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. I remember the first one I saw. And I always told my mom, oh, it's mi amiguito, you know, amiguito. And mom's like, all right, whatever.
Not you, those kids from the movie.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And then I would like tell her about, like, he wouldn't play with me. He wouldn't interact with me. He was just like always there though. Like if I'm playing outside by a tree, and then all of a sudden I would turn, and then I would see this man standing there and not looking directly at me. He's just like leaning up against the wall with his arms crossed, or just like standing around. He was always around. And then I went to my grandma's house in Mexico in my first memories of it, and I was like, oh, look, that's him. And I pointed at a picture, and it turned out it was my grandmother's grandfather.
What?
Yeah. And my mom, like, tripped out because she had never seen that picture before. So she runs into the kitchen, calls her mom, my grandma, into the room, and she's like, ¿Quién es ese señor? I had never seen that picture. And my grandma's like, oh, that's my grandpa, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's him.
But you were seeing him, like, here?
Yeah.
And then you went to Mexico and you were like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah. Trippy, huh?
Yeah.
And ever since then, that's when my mom started believing me. Like, she was just like, yeah, she sees things. And I'm like 5 years old, 6 years old. She's like, yeah, she sees things.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
so as
crazy.
I got older, I was never scared to say I would see things because my parents were very acceptant of me seeing things. They were just like, oh, okay. But I mean, they would never like encourage it. They would just be like, oh, she saw something, let's move on.
Yeah.
Like just acknowledge that she saw something and just move on.
That's healthy, because I feel like a lot of people almost have trauma from
it's like
kids like not being believed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. And that's probably why I'm like so open about it too. Just like I don't feel like embarrassed to say that I've seen things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But
I'm like, oh, she's gonna think I'm fucking nuts.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Who sees ghosts?
And it's crazy to think that there's people that are like really don't believe in ghosts, and they'll be like, "You're fucking crazy."
Yeah. And my
Like-
mom, especially, she's never seen anything or experienced anything or felt any of like that fear of going into a room or a house or anything.
I've never felt that either.
Yeah, it's like you guys have like this bubble around you guys that's like protecting you from all the elements of the ghost world, I guess. Because my dad would tell my mom that. He's like, you just have this bubble. I mean, he would be the kind of person that he's like, I could see that. Like, he would see things too, and he could experience. He was really sensitive. Mm-hmm. So as I got older, I would see things, and my dad would be like, I know what you just saw. I just saw it. And I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? No, what are you talking about? Like, it's not. I didn't see anything. I was like in denial. I just like wanted to block it off.
Yeah.
Because I was like so like over it.
Maybe that's why I've heard people that don't like it, kind of ignore it. They kind of lose that. They don't like practice it, I guess. And they lose like that part of them.
Yeah, you just learn to block it off. I was honestly just over it because it was really consuming my life at one point.
Really?
Yeah. It was really bad. Between like 13 to like 16, 17, it was like super, super bad.
Really?
Yeah. And so I was just like, no, I can't do this anymore. I'm just like so over it. So whenever my dad would like talk about it, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I would just ignore everything. I would just stop. Unless it was like a good story that is like, I need to tell somebody. Then I'm like, hey, Dad.
Like
let me tell you. Yeah. And he's like, oh, shit. You know, like, but I really just didn't want anything to do with it at that time. And
you're like, I'm not trying to help y'all get to crossover.
And it wasn't even, it was just like bad energy. It wasn't even like healthy energy. It was just like putting me in a bad place mentally.
Oh.
And it was just bringing out like the worst side of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, this isn't even helpful in like anything. It's not proactive in any part of my life to continue like this.
Like trying to figure out.
Yeah, because before when I was younger, it was just like all fun and games, and it wasn't really interacting with me. It was just like around, like walking to a room and you see things, but it's not interacting with my life.
Yeah.
But once they started, this is how I saw it. Once they started noticing that I could see them, they were like, ooh, let's get your energy. So we could get more energy to like make more of a like notion that they're there, you know?
Whatever it is they try to do, right?
But they just feed off of your energy. And especially if it's like you're in a bad mood, that's like their prime. Yeah.
That's crazy. I've heard like if you're scared too, you think that's true?
I think so.
Because there's times that I'm like looking, we obviously have a big backyard, and I'll like, when we first got here, we'll like look out, and then the casita in the back used to have like like the Virgin Mary, like an altar. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And I used to be so scared of it because I'm like, what the fuck is that? There's somebody buried there or something. And I would like force myself to go outside and like be like, fuck this, like stop being a bitch, go like, you know, like kind of face the fear. But I never, like I said, I never saw anything or anything like that. I would just, because I would always hear like, if you're scared, they'll
definitely trust your instinct when it comes to things like that. I think for me, with my experiences with statues, is not good. Like, you know, like the Virgin Mary and all the little saints and stuff. It's not good because, well, for me, because I felt like the stuff that was following me and haunting me would hide in those, and we had a lot of them. My mom would have those all over the house, and she had an altar, and I felt like the ghosts would like use that as a place to hide and watch me. So I never got good feelings off of having like an altar or statues anywhere, or like even the crucifix. Like that shit, like just for me, I felt like would house them, and they would just like sit there and like watch me as I walked by, and watch me as I left, and watch me as I moved around.
I think I seen, maybe when I was younger, I saw a lot of maybe movies. I don't know. Remember when we passed by? I don't know if it when we passed by the cemetery, and I was like, I used to be so afraid. Yeah. And I swear to God, dude, I remember I told you, like, I wouldn't even turn to look at them.
Yeah.
On the 10 freeway, there's a Forest Lawn cemetery, and they have, like, these huge statues. And I was telling Dana that we used to go to La Puente every Friday, and when we would pass by the cemetery, I was little, maybe like 9 or 10, and I would not even want to turn and look at them for whatever reason. Like, I don't know if I saw something or what, but I was like so afraid of those statues. Wow. Like, terrified.
Yeah.
But I have the worst fucking memory, dude. I don't remember shit. So I don't even know. I wouldn't be able to tell you where that came from. But yeah, I feel you with that one.
Yeah. I never felt it with cemeteries. Like statues. I always just felt it with like just like saint statues, not like cemeteries.
And that's crazy because you
like I've never been scared of like going into a cemetery.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been?
Yeah. Yes. And in fact, my cousin Handy and I would go in Mexico. Our grandmas lived between a cemetery, and so we would walk through the cemetery just to go between the houses to cut through. And there was one particular time where we were coming back from our dad's and her mom's mom. And so we were going back to my mom's house. And it started raining so bad. And it looked so pretty, but we didn't care. We were just jumping around in the mud puddles and
in the cemetery?
In the cemetery, just having the best time of our life. And then we run back to my grandma's house, and then she stops us at the door, yells at us. She's like, how dare you try to come into my house with those muddy shoes, because that mud is from the cemetery. Do not bring that mud into my house. Leave your shoes out here. Clean them out here. Do not come in with those. So, I mean, I guess there's like so many superstitions. I don't know what that meant, if we were going to bring in the spirits or the energy you're invited into the house.
Dude, well, when I told my parents that we had gone where we went, like, my dad was like, no andes trayendo, no, y luego vienes para acá, like, no andes trayendo. Like, what? Like, what am I?
But it's like her, like, you know, cemeteries where we were little, we must have been like, I think I turned 7 years old that time, so she was still 6. I mean, we're only a month apart, but like we were 6 years old out there just walking around by ourselves in the cemetery having a great old ball.
That's so. Wait, did you guys know what it was? Like,
yeah, we did. We
that's
knew exactly
so
what it was.
I've never been to a cemetery,
and
like
I feel
that.
like Mexico cemeteries are creepier looking
Fuck yeah.
than the ones out here. Out here, everything's like nice and pretty and flat. Out there, it's like there's like the mausoleums, and then there's the big old casitas, and then all the huge saints.
No, and then there's like they're like stacked on top of each other,
and they're stacked on top of
like,
each other.
Right, like they're like an inch apart.
Yeah,
and like you literally have to like walk like 1 foot in front of the other because there's no path.
No.
There's just so many freaking tombstones and the casitas, whatever. I used to see my uncle's like really into stuff like this too, and he always shows me this guy that goes into the cemeteries at night in Mexico because that's where like it's popping.
Yeah,
and yeah,
we would have probably done that too, but they closed the gates.
For what?
For the cemetery.
Oh my god, dude! I would never. I can't. But yeah, speaking of all this mess, me and Dana visited the Colorado Street Bridge in Pasadena on Friday morning. We got there like what, 10, 11? No, like 11.
Like 11-ish.
12. 30. Dana doesn't know anything about this bridge. She didn't even know it existed. No. I don't remember where I have heard of it. I just know it was a suicide bridge. I know that it had chain link fence because a lot of people were out there just throwing themselves off that shit and committing suicide. And I told her, and she was like, yeah, let's go, fuck it. And we went, and it's a beautiful bridge. It's a really nice bridge. Yeah. We were there taking pictures, taking videos. What would you say was your experience getting there, the feeling?
So getting there, I felt really calm. You know, going on that little path going down into the parking lots at the base of the, what is that, like the river floor almost, close to like the river canal floor. Mm-hmm. It seemed so like such a, I don't know, peaceful place, I guess.
Yeah, and then there's people like they're just
like chilling, walking around. There's like
hiking.
A little place where you can go fishing there.
Yeah.
It's such a like walked area. It's like populated, you know. It's not by itself. It's not creepy. It doesn't feel ominous or anything.
Yeah.
So, and even the trail walking up to the bridge seems so like calm.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting honestly something else. Like
something creepy or like something like forgotten.
Yes.
Like something that where like bushes are growing over the path
like
or something. But no, it was
caution
like,
signs,
I mean,
do not
we saw
enter.
A fucking horse, you know, like a guy riding a horse happily. Yeah. Like it just seemed like such a chill place.
Yeah, dude, and that's it, like honestly that tripped me out so much because they've found bodies there.
Yeah.
They found bodies. People have jumped. Like this bridge has history, a lot of history.
What year were you saying the last person that jumped was?
2017.
17? I think you said 17.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah, so I mean that's not that long ago.
No.
And
I'm surprised I mean, this is probably really crappy to say, but if I'm being honest, like, especially with COVID and so many people committing suicide during the quarantine period of it, the initial quarantine period of it, I'm surprised more people didn't. But maybe because with COVID, you know, people were really doing that during the initial time. So maybe because we were forced to stay inside.
Yeah,
people were
and
going out.
Like we were saying, it's a chain link fence. Like,
yeah,
I
mean, but a chain link fence isn't that hard to climb.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's like so. It's like makes it
it's easier, right? Like, I feel like the fence that's on the other side of the fence, like it's harder,
safer too.
Yeah, because it doesn't have nothing to climb like your feet over. The chain link fence has a little holes you can put your feet over and jump over. So yeah, but it was
I would love to drive through there and just like, or even walk through there at night.
No, I want to walk
with like the little lights on. It's a really pretty
bridge. I want to walk through there for sure. We didn't have time because I have like 10 kids that I had to pick up. But for sure, I really do want to go back through there. I don't think I would go through the bottom, TBH.
No.
I'd
be down, but
you're like, peace.
I'm gonna take like fucking a taser or something. I'm more scared of like fucking homeless people jumping out at me.
Yeah, but you know what? I think there's more. I don't think there's homeless. I've read that. I don't think there's homeless. I think there's more like just weird people going and trying to investigate.
Oh, like us?
Yeah.
More weirdos like us? We are the weirdos, mister.
Yeah, I think there's more people like that or just weird people like that more than homeless. Because I've heard that they try to keep it pretty clear.
I mean, it's Pasadena. It's a nice area.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Gorgeous houses.
Yeah, dude.
All around
it reminds me of like...
And it's close to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of like Riverside area, like by the Matt Rubidoux.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Okay, so since Dana didn't know too much about the bridge, I went ahead and did a little bit of research, just basic stuff to give you a little background on it. So what I found out was basically that people were going when they were wagons and using horses to get around. People used to have to like go down the steep hill and go back up that shit, like, and it was just. Wow. Yeah, it was like not ideal.
It's not safe for the horses or the wagons.
Yeah, no. You know? Could you imagine going down that and like
heavy wagon with poor little horse? Has to
carry with all their shit.
Yeah, with all their shit. Oh no.
So, in 1913, this guy named J.A.L. Waddell designed the bridge and he started construction. The bridge is 150 feet high, 1,467 feet long. I was telling you that. I think at one point it was like the tallest bridge in, I don't know if it was the United States, which doesn't seem sound right because 1913 wasn't too long ago. I feel like there was already bridges by then.
Maybe of the area.
Yeah, because it's not that high.
Or like SoCal.
It's not that high, right? Like it's
no.
It like I mean, I've been to like the San Francisco Bridge. I feel like there's bridges that are way taller than that.
Right.
But I read somewhere that it was at one point the tallest bridge, whatever. So there's a rumor that started in 1913 when the bridge was being built that a construction worker fell into the wet pavement.
Oh, no.
And that they left him there.
Oh, shit.
Because they were like, well, he died. The pavement's wet. It's hard to get him out. So they just left him.
Oh.
And they left him. I
wonder what part of the bridge that was.
Yeah, I don't know. They left him and he just ended up drying and his body stayed in the wet concrete. So like rumor has it that like at night you can hear him like crying for help or just asking for somebody to help him. But shit. They say it's just a rumor. It's like a urban legend, I guess, kind of thing. But
I mean, it seems plausible. If that were to happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like that house. There's a house in San Francisco. That one with the hella rooms.
Oh, the Winchester house?
Yes. And that one is, they say it's haunted because hella people died building it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But this bridge, the same thing. Like, but I don't know. I'm skeptical about everything. So I'm like, they really let his ass there in the dry ass shit? Like, really? You ain't gonna take him out?
Maybe he made the foundation more solid.
His arms all like.
They're like, no one's gonna fuck with this bridge now that they know there's a dead body in it. They're never gonna tear this shit down unless they want to find some bones.
That's so funny. So the bridge became a hotspot when people started jumping from 1919 to 1937 during the Great Depression.
Oh,
so that's when it was
another like type of pandemic.
Yes. Ooh. So that's when it was really like, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It didn't say exactly how many, but there was a lot. One of the most famous suicide attempts, and I told you when we were there, May 1st, 1937, when a mom threw her baby girl over the railing, and then she jumped herself.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, dude. So the mom died, but the little girl survived. She landed on a bunch of trees in the bushes, and it broke her fall. Because it's pretty dense, with bushes and stuff. So I mean, I could see that happening, especially for somebody that's lighter, like a baby.
Yeah,
but
I'm like, why can't you just drop off the baby at the fire station and then go jump?
So in the 1980s, the bridge was like going through it. And in 1989, there was an earthquake near Oakland that led the bridge to be closed because people were scared like it was gonna fucking fall apart. They started in 1993. They finally went under $27 million renovation. The bridge also received a civil engineer landmark, and it's listed as a historic place now.
Oh, nice.
So I don't remember. There's a plaque.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, me neither. But it's somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but there's a plaque, and it says Colorado Street Bridge, and then it has like a whole paragraph. But I don't know where that would be because we didn't see it.
So we'll just have to go back onto the bridge and walk it, and then we could probably see the plaque. Yeah,
I definitely want to go at night. I really wanted to see that shoe that's there, and the locks.
Oh,
I think did I post a picture on my Instagram? No, I didn't. I think I was going to make a reel or something. Remember I told you that there's like shoes and stuff that when people have jumped, they like lose a shoe or whatever, and they left it there. And I really wanted to see that. But when we drove by,
we were driving pretty fast.
Yeah, and we only drove through it once.
We should have driven back.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we ended up having more time, but fucking dude, can you believe it took us 2 hours to get back home?
I know, it was a mission.
I'm like, I felt so bad because first of all, I knocked the fuck out.
The post you posted last night with the little dog.
That was me. That was me.
I don't care because I was just like having the time of my life, just singing and driving.
I cannot, but
I don't mind it.
I'm like, anyways, back to sidetracked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to see that fucking shoe, and there's so many pictures of it.
So is this like an older shoe or like a recent shoe?
No. It's like old. It's like it's one shoe, and it's between the chain link and the original fencing, and it's just like right there on the floor. I think it's you know how there's the, what's it called, like the like a little balcony kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's right there. But the bridge is pretty long, and there's a lot of those. So
yeah, like I said, we'd have to walk it. We'll walk it one way and then we'll come back the other way.
Yeah, we did see like flowers.
I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
It was like when we were driving, it was on your side, and it was just on the fence. There was like flowers. And I know people put like locks, like, you know, you've seen those, right? Like people put locks on, and they put like their names or whatever. I know there's that, but I didn't see that either. Yeah. Was there a like sidewalk?
Yeah, it looked like there was a pathway in between the original fence and the chain link fence.
No.
Or the other one. There's a
like
chain link fence, and then there's like a little pathway.
Because remember there was like a guy on the bike?
Yeah.
But I think he was on the road. Or was he on the sidewalk?
Wait.
Because we were like, the chain link fence and the original one is not that much space. It's like literally next to each other.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look at it that clearly.
But I know that you could walk because I've seen, there's so many videos on YouTube, people going in there at night, and they walk through there.
And it, like, when you're first getting on the bridge, it looks like it's open. Like, there's like, but you're in between fences too.
Yeah.
Maybe just like the rail to not hit them.
Yeah.
Like a bike, like, road, you know?
Yeah.
Or something.
It still trips me out so much that there's people like nonchalantly
just living their life,
yeah,
just going on there, knowing that other people are going in there with like their mindset of like, this is the last time I'm gonna be alive.
There was also a report of somebody had called the cops. When was it? I don't remember. They called the cops because they were hiking through there and they smelled like something bad. So they called and they said, they thought it was a body. So the police came. They were searching around there. It took them like 2 hours to find this body through the brush. And
it's so dense. I could see that being
and it's issue. Like piled.
Yeah. And like layers and piles and just like hilly.
And there's a fucking swamp.
Oh, yeah. Fuck that. Imagine, like, jumping and falling into that. Like, no one will ever find you.
Do you think it's deep?
I don't think so. Because I mean, probably. But it just, like, runs over and then it goes into the canal. Did you see that? Like, it just piled up right there until it overflows and then goes into the bigger canal.
Yeah.
The one that's dried up.
Yeah, but
that water is nasty.
Yeah, it's fucking nasty. It's literally a swamp. Like, who knows how many, like, nasty. Anyways, yeah, it took them 2 hours to find this guy, and when they did find him, he was like decomposing, like bad. He had been there for God knows how long. They couldn't even tell if it was a man or a woman at first because his body was so bad, so bad.
He was there for a long
time. He was there for a while, and they don't know. The report didn't say anything but that they didn't know if it was a homeless person or they knew it wasn't a homicide, but they just don't know if he died of like a natural death or whatever, or if he had jumped off. It didn't. I don't know why it didn't say.
So it could have been a person that walked over there, like through the trail, and then just hid in a bush and then just died. Yeah. So there's not like it's not certain that they jumped.
No. They just because he was just there for so long. Like I said, it said that his body was so badly decomposed that they just to not be able to tell if it was a man or like.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever.
Imagine all those little squirrels we saw just eating dead
Yeah, dude. That
bodies.
shit was like scaring me low key. You think they would eat them?
I don't know. Maybe they would store their little nuts
like in the
there.
mouth and that's fucking nasty.
I don't know. They were cute though.
So when we were there, then I took a video.
I did.
I was like walking ahead of her, and she had taken this video, and she was standing. I think was it right after you took it?
So, well, let's tell them where the video was. The video, we climbed up, and then there's like a middle path, like a middle bridge.
Right under the bridge.
Under the main bridge that we're talking about. And so we went on this bridge, and I hopped over first, so I was taking a bunch of videos and stuff, and I wanted to get like some really cool angles. And then you came over, and then you started walking ahead of me. So when you got there, I had just finished taking the video that I showed you. So, and then you walked forward. But I was like taking pictures and just like recording other things, and I just got like this gut feeling like, hey, go look at that video. Like that specific video. I had taken so many videos prior to that, but I don't know, I just got this gut feeling to go rewatch it. And I first edited the video. I was like, oh, let's make, the colors like brighter, just a contrast brighter so it looks nice. And then I replayed it, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then I stopped, and I looked over at you, and you're like across this bridge, and I'm just staring at you. I'm like, how am I going to tell her? Like I'm trying to think of all the ways to debunk this. Like, was it a fly? Was it what? And I'm looking around trying to figure out what it could have been. And so that's why I'm like just standing there staring at you. But in my head, I'm like trying to debunk this video.
And I eventually turned back, and I just saw you standing there. I was like,
looking all creepy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, what's wrong with her? Because you look like confused.
Yeah.
But you just look like confused.
Yeah.
And you were just like kind of staring, and I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna have to go over there and be like,
you're like, fuck, now I have to deal with this.
Yeah, I'm like, what do I say? Like, how do I handle this? So I finally walked over, and you're like, I found something. Or
yeah,
I think I got something.
I was like, I caught something.
Yeah, and then she showed me the video, and do you want to explain it?
Well, so I'm doing a wide angle video of starting from the ceiling of the bridge that we're talking about. What is it called? The Colorado Bridge?
Colorado Street. Suicide Bridge.
Okay.
Colorado
so
Street
that
Bridge.
One. From there, and then I'm panning down to the ground. And in between me panning down, this is maybe like a 9-second video at the most. Or maybe it's at the 9-second mark. That this orb just flies from the lower left-hand side of the screen all the way up to the top right of the screen. And I was like, oh, what the heck? Is that a fly? And I'm looking around.
Yeah.
And I don't see any animals or any little insects flying around. So I'm like, okay, weird. So naturally, what do? You rewind it, right? To replay it. And as I scrolled on the tab to rewind it, when you watch it backwards, it looks like a body falling down from the bridge that we're talking about to the ground. Mm-hmm. And it's like an elongated version of, it's not like a perfect circle. It's elongated, and then it just drops. So I was like, oh shit. And so I was like, dude, if we play this backwards, it looks like a body falling.
It looks like a fucking body.
It looks like a body falling, and it's just an orb. So then I played again, and it's so fast. Like when you play it in regular time, it's like a split second that you see the little black like speckle. But it's when you go frame by frame that you could finally
Yeah,
see.
because when you just watch it like
and
regular,
it disappears like in the middle of this in the top right. It doesn't go all the way out of the shot. It just disappears.
Yeah, it's like not there, and then it's there,
Yeah.
and then it's like not there at the bottom
like,
again.
Dun.
Yeah,
yeah, like little like
because there's only like what 4.
Yeah, like 4 little like
shots that you see
like
it,
frames.
like when you slow-mo it. Yeah, because I've screenshotted it. But there's one I think like the first or the second one, that you could see like the elongated, and it looks like a head and a body, like it looks like the outline. But yeah, like she said, there was no. It almost kind of. I was like, maybe it's like a bird falling, but I feel like if it was like a bird fell and like fucking died or something in front of us, we would have seen it. Yeah, we would have been like, oh fuck.
Even if it was an insect, like a fly flying by, I would have seen it because it was so close to the camera lens.
Yeah, but then when okay, so when you play it like regular speed, it looks like it's right in front of your camera, but when you slow it down, it looks so far away.
Yeah. So I'm like, even if it were to be like an insect or something, like I would have seen it because it looks so close to me on regular time,
dude.
So I was like, oh my god, no.
When she showed me, I was like tripping out, and I was so fucking excited.
You're like, yes, we got footage.
It was just so crazy. Like, I didn't feel like scared or anything. Yeah, no, I didn't.
That's one thing that did change for me, because you asked me initially, what did I feel going there?
Yes.
And it was fine. And even walking through the path, and you're telling me all this spooky stuff about it, it was fine. Until I rewatched it. So that gut feeling of, hey, go rewatch this right now. And then me actually watching it and seeing it. And then I'm like showing you. But after like seeing it the first time and I rewind it and I got that thought of like, it looks like the body falling. I just got this like instant feeling of like sorrow and like terror at the same time. Like fear of like, if I was the one falling.
Really?
Like it felt like just so like sad and like fear. And I was just like, man, that sucks. You know, like that's such a shitty feeling. And up until that, I didn't feel any of that because it just looked so nice out there.
Yeah.
But like something about that video just made me feel like, oh shit, like this is real. People really do die here. People really do jump off here. And like, this is probably their last feelings of, holy shit, you know, like fear, you're falling, you're plummeting down to your death. And that sadness that they carry, you know?
Do you think whatever, if it was something, was like telling us or you, because it showed to you, like, or made you feel like that? Like, come here with respect. This is not just some ghost hunting.
Definitely. I think I went into it more open-hearted and more like lively. Like not as, I wouldn't say I disrespected it, but I would feel like
immaturely almost.
Like no, just more of like
having fun.
It was more of like an adventure, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like
it's kind of hard to word it, right?
It's just like you're going into it just like open-minded, but you're not thinking of the people that have died here. Like, yeah, we're talking about them, but we, like, you know,
they're real people. They're real situations.
Like,
they were.
So it's just like kind of like grounded you, like, or grounded me, because I saw it and I felt that, like, hey, dude, people fucking died here. Like, yeah, show your respect. Don't just come in here and just think that you're gonna just have a good time.
Yeah,
it's like, remember why you're here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reason why you're here. You're here to like experience it, maybe feel what they felt. But yeah,
bring almost like awareness.
Yes.
Okay, and see, because I don't have that sensitivity, I feel like I have to remind myself of that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because with a lot, like with this whole new series, the Jeffrey Dahmer one, you said you watched it, right?
I haven't finished it.
Okay, well, a lot of people are talking about the victims, how they don't talk about the victims, and they're just glorifying or treating Jeffrey Dahmer as a, like, almost celebrity. And they're like, what about the victims? Like, people died.
Right. I think Netflix was hitting it or whoever created this is hitting that particular show in a different light, because there's so many documentaries about Dahmer
Yeah.
and his victims. And I feel like they were just trying to give out another perspective. There are so many perspectives in every story of like the victims or, you know, all the neighbors. I mean, you could do a whole series about just the neighbors on what they saw and how they experienced living next door to him, or, you know, it's showing a different perspective. And I think creatively, I think that's pretty smart. But I know that everybody wants so much respect now.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like there's so many documentaries about Dahmer that explain their victims and what their families went through. And it's not to be taken lightly, of course. I think it's just a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. And like I said, I feel like I have to remind myself when I do cases or when I talk about them, because some of the things that I say, especially with nowadays that everybody is so fucking offended by every single thing that you say.
Snowflake.
Yeah, dude, like you can't say shit. But I also have to remind myself, like, okay, I have to remember that these were real people.
Yeah.
They're real situations.
Yeah, and
it
that
could
was-
have been anybody. It
For
could be,
sure.
you know, I think my sister had told me that her ex, his uncle had jumped off of there.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, she was like telling me about it, but I never really got the full story. But because I was like talking to them about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, my uncle jumped off of there."
I think for sure.
And I was like, it kind of shut me up because I feel like I was saying it more
insensitively.
Yeah,
More
and I was just like, oh fuck.
here's the story.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you never know. Like, you know, you
Right.
could be talking about something like and making it seem so cool, and like, but then somebody hits you with shit like that, and you're just like, oh fuck.
And this is, yeah, I feel like that feeling, and that's probably why they did that. Like, hey, like, kind of like realize what's happened here, the history behind it. And I feel like maybe that's why we did get evidence. I really thought we weren't, to be honest. I really thought we weren't going to get.
Do you think because it was like during the day?
One, because it was during the day, and two, because it didn't feel ominous there.
Yeah,
like it didn't feel heavy at all. It just felt like such a regular place.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that whoever tried to get that point across, they did. Ghostly, you know. But I think it's also important that, you know, I feel like suicide is such a taboo to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about it. But talking about it, I feel like could save so many lives.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I feel like maybe that's why they gave us proof, because, you know, we're going to do a podcast. We're going to talk about suicide. Suicide is such a everyday thought for so many people.
Yeah.
And they, like, each day is like another opportunity for each person to just do that.
Yeah, and especially in, what would you say, Hispanic culture, it's like so much, they'll throw in religion, like,
oh yeah,
everything.
sure.
And it's just, I feel like it's so much more of a taboo in Mexican culture.
Well, it's like the
Hispanic
Catholicness.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because
it's like, you know, it's a sin to kill yourself.
Yeah,
And
but it's like, if you feel how you feel,
yeah, it's
you
like,
know,
so how are you supposed to handle this? And you know, I was just watching this video yesterday. I don't know if I sent it to you, but it's about ranchers, and it's talking about the U.S. How there's like, I think it's like between 1% to 8% of the population in the U.S. are ranchers, and that small percentage has to feed so many people. And they say that ranching is one of the top suicide careers to have.
Really?
Because they make about $50,000 a year, but it takes over $100,000 to create all the crops and food and products and packages
the time and the
sell,
stress.
yeah, and the time. So, and it's men. Men are the ones usually running ranches, and it's like one of the top suicide careers. So
I would have never thought.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, when you say all like the reasons, it kind of does.
Yeah, like when you know like the facts about it. I mean, I didn't know the facts about it until yesterday, until I saw this video, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Like, you know, how many ranchers do you know? Like, maybe one, if anything.
Yeah.
But they're not making production for a whole country.
Yeah.
You know, like, between all, like, that small percentage, they have to feed all of America. I don't know. It's just crazy.
I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to feed my kids tonight.
Yeah. I know. I'm like...
The stress of that.
The stress
I can
of
imagine.
feeding people, the stress of, like, making dinner. I think it's just, like, thinking of what you're going to make is, like, the hardest part.
Yeah. That's crazy. It was a good experience.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went there. I'm glad we went during the day to kind of get a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be down to go at night. Maybe with more people.
We'll get more people. I'm down to go at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we go with more people,
worst case scenario, we'll just walk the bridge and at night, and I'm sure it'll be
I feel like if we were to take like Renee or Jonathan,
yeah,
I'd be so down just because they're dudes and
like the
bodyguards.
The guys that are the most scared.
Oh yeah, fuck.
John's like,
maybe
fuck
not.
that. I don't want to do that.
He's like, I'll
Renee's
watch you.
like, hell no. If you bring anything home, I'm leaving you. Like,
fucking Renee, get it together, please.
Oh my gosh. But yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I didn't
do
think
like
about
a part
that.
2 of this.
Yes,
And then
definitely.
we'll do,
And then revisit the subject.
And and speaking of bridges, there's also the bridge in San Diego.
Oh yeah,
when I was in high school, my high school history teacher took us on a field trip down to San Diego, and she's like, "Hey guys, look at this bridge. You know, this is famous for people jumping off of and dying and killing themselves." And fun fact. So now every time I drive through there, right when you're going into like downtown San Diego, I see it and I'm like, damn, people are just jumping off this bridge. I don't know the history behind it. I don't know how many people have done it, when that started. I don't even know the name of the bridge, to be honest, but
we'll look into it.
It looks very similar to the bridge that we went to in
Is it over a freeway?
Yeah. It's
yeah,
over
because I think
what is it, the 168 or...
When you sent me the video, I think you were...
I was like getting off the freeway.
Yeah.
Well, it's the freeway that takes you into downtown. So it turns into like the city.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely have to look...
check that one out.
Check that out. But I'll post a video that Dana took on our Instagram, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys be the judge of it and let us know your thoughts. I showed like some of my family members, and they're like, yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a ghost. Like I said, watch it frame by frame.
You be the judge of it.
Yeah, let us know what you guys...
just know the background of it now. Now you know the backstory to it.
Mm-hmm. You know a little bit of history about it. Let us know what you think. And all credit due to Miss Dana, because that video's it's fucking crazy. And I almost feel bad that you had all those feelings, because I'm like,
you were just like,
I'm like, what's going on?
And it was just, I mean, it didn't linger. It was just like more of like that gut feeling initially, and then watching it and then feeling that way. I think it was just definitely a message of like, hey, this is why you're here, and we're going to prove it to you, and speak about, you know, suicide awareness. It's okay. I think people need to know. I think that's how I took it.
Yeah.
But those are just like my initial feelings of everything. But I did feel that like terror. Really? Terror and like sorrow all mixed together. And that's why I was just like standing there just staring at you.
Yeah, dude.
And then like, thinking also like, how am I going to debunk this?
Yeah.
You know?
That's so crazy.
I don't know.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for
Wasn't
inviting
this so
me?
much fun?
This was fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. We'll make that trip out to San Diego soon. And
do a part 2.
Yes, do a part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll hear you. Yes. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.